Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're getting ready and set up for our first game of the semi-final series here between Death Cards Academy and No Fear Wolves. Joining me on the desk tonight is none other than the lovely Metapods. Thank you so much for joining me. The support from Shadowblade Slash, if I'm correct?
Absolutely, that's me.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure I got my all my ducks in order because Camcom isn't here to do it for me. But hopping straight into this pick draft so far, we do have Azir, Aphelios, and Diana taken off the board by DCA. Meanwhile, No Fear Wolves taking off the Gwen, the Viego, and the Nocturne. What do you make about the pick ban so far?
We see a blue side first pick Zinzao, and that looks like a really strong priority to flex off of that. You can take some really strong mid lane matchups with that, some top lane matchups, allow them to play a lot of places. And on red, we're seeing a Volibear coming in most likely here, that gets locked in. That gives them a lot of flexibility. They don't have to put it in top lane or jungle yet. They can decide where they go from there. They do like that set in though, that kind of limits their flexing. It may be support, but it's most likely showing their top and jungle already.
Most likely. You could also expect to see maybe a potential set in the middle lane. That's a weird one that you get every once in a while. I don't think Volibear really gets played mid at all. I do like to see the Volibear into the Xin Zhao matchup. Typically stops this early bruiser from really being able to roll early, just because Volibear does have some pretty healthy trading patterns in the early stages of this game. We got some more rapid fire picks coming out here though. Mordekaiser Thresh being locked in for Death Cards Academy here, blocking in their top side already here, and I guess they're fairly confident that this set is going to be going onto the top half of the map and they have a matchup prepped and ready for it.
Yeah, I don't know that much about the Mordekaiser set matchup personally, but what they draft here is just a lot of strong picks individually with the Zinzao, the Mordekaiser, and the Thresh. You can do a lot of that. They haven't really revealed their comp yet, so they can pivot a lot of ways off that. And with the Morgana coming in for No Fear Wolves, it looks like they're trying to take a counter into the Thresh. I don't like it as much because you can play the Thresh pretty defensively still. You don't have to just look for hooks all game, but we'll definitely have to see how that plays out.
I do like to see the bans that have been coming out throughout this series so far. There's a lot of targeted picks, a lot of champions being taken away from individual players. We see the cute Raichu doesn't get his Azir. We've seen him pop up with some massive stream of shuffles. Mentioned in my rap earlier that this man can absolutely kill it whenever he gets the King of the Sands. Aphelios being taken away from Epic Fail Guy. And then on the other side of the thing, Fug Nuggler getting targeted out a little bit here, as we're mentioning during the pre-show. That top side of the map for DC is one of the stronger areas that they look at for carry potential in terms of his solo laning, with taking off the Viego, taking off the Gwen, and then also taking away that Vayne pocket pick for Galaxy. I think there's some really intelligent pick ban coming in from both of these teams so far in this first game of the series.
Yeah, they're doing some really nice targeting here, and I want to see the Ziggs pick there. It's really smart to do it there because you can still hide whether it's going bot lane or mid lane. And with those bot lane bans, I'd almost assume that it's going to be going bot lane at this point. It'll have a really good match from that Kai'Sa as well, because Kai'Sa's not going to be able to get that wave out from under her tower this whole game.
Yeah, when you force the Kai'Sa to be using a Catherine Ring constantly to just clear out waves rather than going for early game trading patterns where you can get an isolated Q onto your opponent, it makes her laning phase a lot harder. And I've mentioned it since a couple of weeks ago, with all the nerfs that Kai'Sa's been receiving patch after patch after patch, I just don't think that this AD carry is worth picking anymore. But when there's so many AD carries that have already been banned out, 5 in total, it makes it difficult, and you have to kind of revert back to these more classic picks. And I think that's where No Fear Wolves has really done a great job with their draft, is like you said, waiting for that fourth side red pick up here in order to really close out the AD carry champion pool. And DCA kind of fell for that exact play pattern when they started banning out AD carries in return, taking off that Tristana, taking off that Jinx. And now with the Cassiopeia locked in, I do believe that Ziggs is solidified on the bottom side of the map. It's going to be a triple AD carry threat mid bot lane with a couple of bruises here for No Fear Wolves.
The No Fear comp's looking pretty good so far. They're going to have that huge front line, this set in the Volibear, and this Ziggs and this Cassiopeia just hurling destruction at you from the back line. They have a Morgana to protect them from that. But looking at the DCA comp, they have that Zinzao. They're going to key off a lot of their early game. And they're going to have to pair that up with the Zinzao, the Sylas, and Kai'Sa. Although I don't like her as much after all the nerfs, like you said, she can follow up on those two champions really well when they find somebody they want to go for.
It is a great champion for being able to follow up with existing CC here. I'm looking at both of these teams wondering where their main sources of damage are going to be coming in here, because with DCA it's kind of obvious that they have the Sylas, they have the Kai'Sa, you know, Mordekaiser and Xin Zhao are also bruisers that do a lot of damage, but what my concern comes in for No Fear Wolves here is that they don't have consistent amounts of DPS damage over time here, except for that Cassiopeia. But typically speaking, mages, even the rapid fire ones like the Cassiopeia, the Rise, the Izir, they take so long to come online and are seen as a secondary source of DPS compared to a regular AD carry. That's where we have a lot of questions around these Ziggs bottom lane pickups, and I want to see where No Fear Wolves is planning to put a lot of their pressure early, and maybe you can help me with this, Metapods. What do they need to be doing in order to make sure that their team composition gets off the ground and rolling through the early stages, because they don't exactly have the strongest early game fighting potential, if you had to ask me.
I expect that they're going to have Skiz in the jungle, not Volibear, just playing goalie for the Ziggs. We can just go around and push towers down. I was playing solo queue the other day. We had a Ziggs middle, and I was just farming bot lane, doing my thing. And this Ziggs pushed mid tower and top tower, and then came down to my lane at 12 minutes. I was like, what are you doing down here? And I realized all the towers are gone on the map. So if they can get the Ziggs into these lanes, push these towers down, they're going to have a really good time. It's pretty much a better Tristana at this point. Does AP damage even.
And you have the execute with the satchel charge as well, just being able to blow up the turret at 20% health or whatever it is. That final plating absolutely free once you're able to get it down low enough to pick it up. I am curious to see what mainly both of these junglers you were mentioning, Skiz, earlier, are going to be looking to do. And in particular, now looking at DCA, we talked about No Fear Wolves' early game strategy. They want to move Ziggs around. DCA, though, I'm expecting them to want to just look for a lot of very aggressive fights throughout this early game. Silas wants to jump on top of Cute Raichu. Patrick Jones here having the aggressive laning phase. Same thing with Galaki, Meep, and Ubu for Cthulhu. You don't pick Thresh, Kaisa, and then try and play that lane passively, and especially versus the Ziggs Morgana that are playing from range versus you. They need to be looking for aggressive engages. They need to be looking for fights. So my eyes are going to be mostly on Sterling Archer because of that. When he has so many lanes that need to be playing aggressively, when he has so many lanes that you want to get rolling early, where does he prioritize? Where does he look to make those aggressive plays and get that particular laner rolling early?
I think it's really going to depend on how his lanes play. So the last nerf that Kai'Sa received, she got like 2 more seconds on her Q. Most people didn't think it was a big deal, but what it really affects is her wave clear. And in this Ziggs matchup, she's going to be struggling. If she starts taking too much poke when Ziggs is just queuing the cash minions repeatedly, even if Sterling Archer wants to come down there, he's not going to be able to just because his bot lane's going to be so chunked out. We might just see their bot lane try to play it defensively and just clear as much as they can, and he might go towards his Silas and his Mordecai to have a few more options to make plays themselves.
The counter argument there is always looking at if the enemy bot lane is always pushed up, that means they're always susceptible to a flank. So a lot of that comes down to No Fear Wolves, how they're willing to coordinate and keep track of where Sterling Archer is looking to make his plays happen. Because if he ever gets down to that bottom lane and gets on tops of the Ziggs and Morgana, avoiding the satchel charge, avoiding the dark binding, he can easily pick up a couple of kills down there. And that's when Galaki Meep on this Kaisa starts to look scary, is when Kaisa gets rolling early, having the killer instinct, the ability to dive in and follow up on an engage from Patrick Jones, from Sterling, a pick from Ulu for Cthulhu. That's when Kaisa looks great, following up on those picks onto the Ziggs, onto the Morgana that are fairly squishy and very immobile backliners for the side of No Fear Wolves.
I just think they're going to struggle to get onto that bot lane because of that Morgana Black Shield. You have to not have hands, not be able to Black Shield a Zinzao knockup or a Thresh hook. You can make some creative plays with a Flash Thresh play, but other than that, they're going to be struggling to actually engage on them, is what I would see.
It does feel like a lot of the onus this first game of the series here is going to be in the hands of DCA to find some very successful ganks and plays early where they're able to roll themselves throughout the very early stages of this game. But ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're going to go ahead and get ready for this game as we throw it over to a quick spectator delay. I want to shout out to our sponsor, AM Grind. Thank you so much for helping us out and sponsoring this series here. Check them out if you guys need coffee. There's a link in the chat. We'll make sure to spam that shout out as well. But until then, we'll see you guys in just about 2 minutes here.
Hello everyone and welcome to Game 1 tonight between Death Cards Academy and No Fear Wolves. On Game 1, Death Cards Academy was the higher seed, so they did have side select. They did decide to take blue side, and here now on blue side, I'm going to be Camcom and I'm joined by Icarus here on the Rift.
It's A very exciting first game of this series here. I think that this series has potential to go to all 5. It's going to be super interesting to watch because I think that we're going to see a lot of development throughout this series as well. Both of these teams are not shy to adapting mid-series and being able to change up their play style. So this first one, we see a lot of comfort being taken away. We see a lot of comfort still being picked up by both of these teams here, with the exception of a couple of very unique picks here. But I'm so excited to see how this first game goes.
Yeah, you mentioned it a little bit in draft, but for No Fear Wolves, they have the triple AP bot side with Cassiopeia, Ziggs, and Morgana, so they're actually pretty much lacking in the AD damage department because, you know, Set Volibear, yes, they do AD damage, but they're more there as tanks to keep your Cassiopeia alive.
It's going to be interesting to see how No Fear Wolves gets away with this composition. We were talking a little bit with Metapods about it, but you know, there's for my big thing is that you don't have a whole lot of consistent AD damage, and while I think that armor is easier to stack, MR is a very easy to pick up stat for a lot of the champions on the side of DCA here. You know, Xin Zhao, or Sterling Archer, Fug Nuggler, Patrick Jones, they can all really start optimizing towards these Banshee Veils. They can start optimizing towards some of these, a lot of, I'm going to expect Spirit Visages being picked up here in order to start and try and tank out a lot of the consistent magic damage and heal through it that is going to be coming in from the backline members of No Fear Wolves, because they don't have the best execute damage. They have a lot of DPS that can be thrown at you, a lot of chip damage, but I don't know who's going to be doing the killing at the end of the day, if you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. In pro play recently, we have been seeing supports rushing the new Anthema's Chains item because it's the same amount of gold as the support mythic, that being 2,500, and usually supports don't get to build that many items, especially in competitive. You're really lucky to reach 2, so having a cheap item with MR, with that, I designate you as taking 30% less to nat, or less CC and everything else like that, is very strong, so you could almost be looking to see it on Uwu for Cthulhu early in this game as Cute Raichu, he's being ganked. He's already forced to flash out as he extended maybe a little bit too far on that Cassiopeia, and that's going to be first blood going down to Sterling Archer.
And we said that it's going to be up to DCA in the early stages of this game to find the leads that they need, and Metapod's got it right here. Going towards that mid lane, Patrick Jones and Sterling Archer finding that first blood onto Cute Raichu, had this lane shoved up just a little too far, but the counter...
Oh no, face checking Skiz. That's not what you want to be. Skiz trying to find this flash shot. One more auto is not gonna find it though. Sterling Archer picking up another kill in this early game.
Oh, that is so tragic, and that is really unfortunate series of events here for the side of No Fear Wolves. Skiz going down early there and giving the kill over to Sterling Archer and Patrick Jones again means that you're getting these early game melee champions who need to find early leads, that advantage throughout the early game. And now Sterling Archer is going to pull even further ahead because of this versus Skiz, who, you know, we were saying Volibear has some healthy trade patterns early stages of this game, but when he starts falling behind, he's not going to be tanky enough versus the likes of Xin Zhao to be able to pull off those trading patterns. And that could mean a lot of defensive play we're going to be seeing here coming in from No Fear Wolves here coming up, because they have slipped over about 1,000 gold lead over to the side of Death Cards Academy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to agree with you there as Volibear. You need the flash or you need the ult to go for any of these ganks or 1v1s, and he had to use the flash there in the 1v1, not even in the gank, and he was not able to find anything for it, not even a 1-for-1 like you're saying, now sitting 1,000, almost a 1,500 gold deficit for No Fear Wolves just in this early game alone when they're trying to play it for that late game. Is now top lane 1v1, both top laners trading their flashes. Fug Nuggler could be looking for this first solo kill up here in the top lane, as well as a few more autos might do it. Sterling Archer is coming up here just to make sure that someone is going to go down, and Cornstar one more auto potentially. I don't think he's going to lose vision through. Oh my gosh, he lives on 1 HP. Oh, that's insulting for No Fear. Oh my gosh.
This first game of the series, Cam, is not holding back whatsoever. It is an absolute banger that we were hoping for here. Patrick Jones is hovering towards his top side here. Cornstar with no flash could be potentially threatened on the dive here, but I don't know if Sterling Archer and Patrick Jones want to commit to it because Patrick Jones is backed off. So it looks like instead they're going to be walking away from this one, shoving in this wave so that it resets whenever Fug Nuggler gets back towards the top side of the map. But look at the bottom side. When you have Sterling Archer spending so much much time shoving out that wave topside, it opens up an avenue for Skiz to sneak in to that dragon pit. He finds the first Drake of this game really early on, just 5.5 minutes into this one. And for a single dragon, it is going to be that infernal Drake picked up. And that's a really good dragon to find early if you're only going to be able to get one stack of it.
Yeah, Sterling Archer spent way too much showing himself in the top lane. It's okay to hover a dive up there, but the fact that they were known 100% that he was up there was just completely free of a dragon for no fear super early on as well. And when you're trying to get that early soul point for yourself as well, and oh no, that ultimate from Q Raichu. Patrick Jones, nice dodge on that ult, but again, just another tilter for no fear.
That's unfortunate. There's not really a whole lot you could say about that one. I do want to quickly take a step back and look at this gold lead that has slowly been growing here for the side of Death Card's Academy. A lot of it is coming in not just from the fact that they have been able to pick up 2 early early kills for themselves, but a lot of it's also coming in from just some phenomenal farming. Despite the fact that Epic Fail Guy is constantly shoving this lane forward, he's missing a lot of the CS, just throwing bomb time and time again. And instead of looking to last hit, he's giving a lot of CS for free to Galaxy, who's timing his auto attacks, who's picking up as much CS as possible. And because of that, despite there being no kills bottom side, it's a 15 CS differential in favor of Galaxy Meep. And with the Morgana backing, that's going to include an invade on this bottom side.
Oh no, Skiz, he wanted his blue buff and just was not allowed to take it there. As now TP coming in from Cornstar Pit, he might have just teleported right into his death with 4 members all on top of him. He goes into the death realm for just a little bit, but Fugmugler will be able to pick up that kill onto him.
What an amazing early game start here from Death Card's Academy. They are absolutely destroying their opponent at every turn here. They saw that Josh Box had back there, and they take that opportunity to look for an aggressive invade, and it was a bit of an overcommittal from No Fear Wolves. Oh, Galaxy, you can't be greedy like that. You've got a bunch of kills, but you're getting your kills through doing that exact kind of play against your opponents here, taking the man advantages and picking off people when you know you have the extra member there. Thresh isn't there, Galaxy. Uwu for Cthulhu has backed away and was holding down the mid lane, and so that was a great punish coming in by the side of No Fear Wolves, putting their first kill into Epic Fail Guy.
Yeah, and that is exactly one of the 2 members that No Fear are trying to get kills on, that being either Epic Fail Guy or, of course, Cute Raichu there in the mid lane, as there are those massive AP damage threats. As they're a little bit AP bursty, and they're a little bit DPS as well, so it's a very good mix of damage. It's not really a mix of AP and AD, though, which is unfortunate for them.
It is going to be interesting to see how these compositions start to clash as we're going towards that 10-minute mark. You typically see the second and third Drakers where a lot of fights start to happen, full-on team fights, with the gold lead continuously continuously growing for Death Card's Academy. I don't think No Fear Wolves is going to respect that enough when it comes to these objective team fights coming up in the next couple of minutes here. And I think that that's going to really try and break this game open. Either it's going to go in No Fear Wolves' favor from some great positioning, or it's going to be DCA that just slaps them around with their wallets throughout this early stages and really blows this game open.
Yeah, like you're saying, DCA, they are sitting more than 2,000 gold up on No Fear Wolves at this point. They are sitting down a dragon, but that doesn't really matter when you lose the first dragon, when you can get the next 3 or the next 4 or however many more they can get in the future, as this is not an early game comp by any means. They're going to be scaling. They might not completely outscale No Fear Wolves, but you don't need to outscale your opponent if you're able to take the Nexus before that even happens.
And look at this bottom side here. We have Epic Fail Guy who has shoved this wave up so many times, and yet he is not the first to get one of those turret platings. Instead, it is actually Galaxy Meep who does, who's now sitting 20 CS up. And we're just seeing such an excellent early game strategy coming in here from DCA. We said they need to be aggressive.
Oh, they are very aggressive. It's now Galaxy Meep forced to use all summoners as well as his ultimate there just to make it out, as now teleport comes in for Patrick Jones to save his ADC, who didn't even need saving, as he's going to find a kill on the Epic Fail Guy completely on his own, then realizes Skiz is also there in the bottom lane and is trying to find the kill onto him as well.
Great walk away there from Skiz, but an even better teleport coming in from Patrick Jones, following up on that aggressive offset play. Oh no.
Sterling. He's gonna face Chick Sterling again, finding another excellent pick in the bushes.
I spoke a little too soon, Cam. I spoke a little too soon. Cast the curse. Skiz over here goes down. It always happens to me, I swear. I'm really bad about the caster curse. Second Drake is going to be the reward here for Death Cards Academy. They're going to be looking to even up these dragons here, which means we will be looking at that Ocean Rift. And now that, or we're going to be looking at the Wind Rift actually here. Cloud Soul. Gosh, tongue-tied today. First day back. What can I say? But with that, it means that we're going to have a lot more ultimates accessible this game, and looking towards both these compositions, the teams that are really going to be favoring that, I do think that it favors DCA just a little bit more here due to the nature of the composition, not because they want the ultimates, but because they want the move speed that inherently comes with that Wind Soul. Once you're able to get those ultimates off, imagine Thugnuggler takes you to the death realm and then runs you down at Mach 10, or Sterling Archer who's able to go in, ult everybody away, and then stick to his target as if he had phase rush. These are the kinds of plays that you want to be see coming in from the side of Death Cards Academy, who already have a very aggressive, very mobile composition. Getting that additional ultimates, getting that additional movement speed is going to be only accelerating their naturally brawly and aggressive team style composition.
Yeah, and that does not mean that Cloud Soul is going to be bad on No Fear Wolves on the other side either, because you can see Volibear ult, Set ult, both of these going in super hard engage ultimates. If you're adding CDR and movement speed on top of that, imagine how strong they'll be able to take as an engage in the front line. And now Thugnuggler, he's being ulted underneath this tower, not even going to have enough time to pop the Death Realm, as he's just immediately popped himself. Meanwhile, Jushbox, not allowed to walk in the jungle, my friend. He's going to go down to Sterling Archer once again.
You don't have your jungler around, Jushbox. You can't be making those kinds of plays when you know that Skiz is shown on the top side of the map there, because it means if Sterling Archer shows up, you're going down for free, and that's exactly what happens. It will mean that hopefully a Rift Herald is going to be the reward for that top side play, but the rest of DCA looks to be trying to collapse on this topside Herald, and Skiz, with a little bit of heads up from those mid lane minions, knows to back away here and is instead going to be resetting back into his jungle here. 3-0-3 on Sterling Archer, 2-0-2 on Patrick Jones. These two melee champions are just pulling further and further ahead the longer this game goes, Cam.
Yeah, and both of them having a 200, a 300 even, and 150 shutdown respectively. Both very powerful, as now Galakimib going in for a 1v2 here in the bot lane. He is going to be stunned up and just not enough damage to find a 1-for-1 there, as that kill will be going to Epic Fail Guy. Another one of those kills that are definitely going to be closing that gold lane more than another one.
Putting it onto the Ziggs is probably the most important factor here. When we look at Sterling Archer and Patrick Jones, yes, having it on the Xin Zhao early means that he could stay to be a champion, but he's not going to be the same late game threat that a Ziggs is likely to be here. And with Epic Fail Guy finishing up that Leandries, along with Cute Raichu also finishing up his Leandries, it means that these AP threats are slowly but surely starting to come online here. They really typically depend on items more so than a lot of other champions here, because of the amount of work that ability damage does and how reliant on these abilities your mages are. So getting those first couple of items underneath the belt, a great power spike to be hitting as we're looking towards that third dragon of the game coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, just 2 minutes on that Cloud Soul spawning up there, and that Cloud Soul is going to be fairly huge for whichever team can take it. It might be even bigger than some of the other dragons that would have normally been better, as I would almost argue Cloud Dragon is more helpful than the other two in this game that could have potentially spawned as, you know, these ultimates. These are very game-changing ultimates, extremely, such as, you know, the ultimate up there on Sterling Archer that's a very strong engage, as well as Hijack on Silas, as you can steal anyone and just have that literally as a better ultimate for yourself. As Thugnuggler, he's being dove up here in the top lane, but living for a very long time, as that's a nice flash outplay from Cornstar. He's gonna take one too many tower shots, and that's a kill going over to Patrick Jones, completely denying that dive. You can't dive, Thugnuggler. What are you doing, No Fear Wolves? You should have learned this lesson already. Another kill going over to Sterling Archer.
It's not even that you can't dive Thugnuggler here, Camcom. It's that you shouldn't be diving a Mordekaiser that has Death Realm. What are you doing, No Fear Wolves here? Bottom side, it looks like Epic Fail Guy might...
Galaki! Oh, okay. He does find the 1-for-1. I was worried that he was just going to go down without the kill, but definitely going 1-for-1 there. Very worth for him.
That's a huge pickup there for Galaxy here. Needs to be trading those kills if he's going to be going down on the bottom side of the map here. His top side, you get the first brick going over to the side of Death Cards Academy. 20 seconds here until the next dragon spawns onto the map. We're 15 minutes in, Camcom. We have 14 kills already. Split dragons. First turret just going down. This game, absolute bloodfest. And it feels like it's so difficult for us to really break down anything that's happening because DCA is playing to their style that they need to be playing in order to win this game, which is just bloody, brawly, and bruisey. Like, you just keep fighting, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Kill after kill, fight after fight. Third dragon has spawned onto the map, and it's no fear wolves that have gotten the inside track.
Yeah, and you've got 7 of your 10 kills on death cards between Sterling Archer and Patrick Jones, which if you were going to have kills on anyone on this team, it was going to be those 2 members and then maybe add Gallic Meepin later on. But early on, Kaisa not going to be really doing that same damage that a Silas and a Zhao would. So very strong early game, like you're saying, from death cards. And if they continue playing like this throughout this game, and especially throughout the series, it's going to be spelling out very well for them.
They just really need to keep up that aggression, as you were saying, Camcom, if they want to continue and roll this game in their favor. They did decide to coin flip the Rift Herald for the Dragon. They've already placed on the Rift Herald as well, so they've gotten their bang for their buck on that neutral objective. But when you're giving over the third Drake of the game, only being the second one here, that's a trade I'm willing to make here if you're the side of DCA. Getting more gold in your pockets, continuing to accelerate your early game lead here. Look at it, it's a 5,000 gold lead at 16 minutes here. Such an accelerated game plan coming in from Death Cards Academy, and this is exactly what they need to be doing here. We see them time and time again optimizing for just taking fights, for going for the gold based plays, not the scaling option, because that's how they're going to win this game.
Yeah, and they're going to win this game again through these top lane 1v1s that Fugnuggler is just absolutely demolishing Cornstar and doesn't even need the flash, just the Death Realm, finding yet another kill for himself up there in the top lane.
Such an aggressive game we have coming in here from both of these teams. Everyone just constantly wanted to fight, and this is where I think that No Fear Wolves... Oh, hold on.
Oh no, Cute Raichu! Oh, he almost played that well enough to find a kill on the Patrick Jones, but unfortunately Patrick was able to dodge that ult just enough to make sure that he did live that one.
Patrick Jones with the cleanest backstep that I've seen since that clip of Faker on Riven. Absolutely reading Cute Raichu there. Takes a quick turnaround, says, no thanks, Medusa, not today. No gaze of stone coming out for you. And he's able to find another kill for himself. 4 kills apiece for Sterling Archer and Patrick Jones. These two players are sitting very healthy in the lead above their opponents. You have a nearly 3,000 gold lead for Sterling Archer and a healthy 2,000 gold lead for Patrick Jones here. They've already completed 1.5 items apiece here on top of their boots. They're going to be looking to complete up their second items fairly shortly here. And with Medjai's being locked in from Patrick Jones, he is looking to continue to not just kill his opponents, but snowball this game so far out of control. Such a confident play coming in here. I love to see this aggression.
Yeah, like you're saying, every single mythic on the board is completed except for, of course, the 2 supports, as usually you almost can argue supports don't build mythic first, but it does look like Joshbox is going to be building one of those support mythics with the Bandoglass Mirror currently in pocket. But like we're saying, this early game has just gone so out of control for No Fear Wolves. They're barely allowed to even walk up to the waves anymore, as every time Cute Raichu is just trying to farm mid lane, he's ganked from behind by Sterling Archer. We've seen it twice this game so far, and I'm not expecting it to stop anytime soon.
I don't expect the aggression to ever let up if you're DCA. They have to just continue to play this game at a breakneck pace if they want to try and win this one, because as we've been saying all game so far, you have that big fail guy on this Ziggs, you have Cute Raichu on this Cassiopeia. If they're ever able to scale into this game looking towards 2, 3, 4 items, they're going to start putting out some really far range and heavy damage on these mages. And while we've been saying that you need to be picking MR up if you're the side of Death Cards Academy, we don't see a whole lot of magic resistance actually being built just quite yet. We have Merc Treads coming in from Sterling Archer early on, and you know, we have that Null Magic Mantle from Ulu for Cthulhu, but Patrick Jones is optimizing towards his Zhonya's first, and Fugnuggler is going towards his Zhonya's as well, picking up some AD when they're main team fight threats for the side of No Fear Wolves is going to be magic damage coming up.
Oh, Skiz, he's going to be ulting in, and he can't be CC'd with that black shield on him, but doesn't even matter. He takes so much damage from Sterling Archer before he's able to run out as Epic Fail Guy. Unfortunately, not so lucky. 2 kills coming down from Death Cards Academy once again, and now Galaxy Meep could be in trouble here. He was stunned up, but the stolen ultimate from Patrick Jones. Huge stun from the Cassiopeia ult stolen away. Galaxy Meep picking up yet another kill, and Sterling Archer finally falls, giving his shutdown over to Jushbox.
And this is exactly what we talked about, Camcom. It's just DCA slapping No Fear Wolves around with the size of their wallets this game. 9,000 gold in the lead at 20 minutes in. It's been the story of this entire game so far here in the first game of our series between Death Cards Academy and No Fear Wolves for the semifinals. But what are you supposed to do here if you're the side of No Fear Wolves? You can't continue to be giving over all these kills. You can't be continuing to give over every single objective. What they need to be doing is they need to just take some time, play so extremely safe, get some wards on in your side of the jungle, and try and just pray that if Baron is picked up here by the side of Death Cards Academy, that they're not able to end the game within that first Baron push, and that you can continue to buy time, continue to just clear out wave after waves, give over the next 2 Drakes. You don't need to fight for them. It's just a win soul at the end of the day.
Yeah, Windsoul not gonna completely change the entire pace of the game, but that Elder Dragon that will be spawning in, I believe it's at 31 minutes if we have 2 more dragons going to death cards without any steals happening, which of course I'm gonna cast a curse it now, but if there's not any steals, I do believe that it is a 31 Cloud Soul for them, and 31 minutes does give Cute Raichu and Epic Fail Guy enough time to build, if not 1, maybe even 2 more items on their very scaly picks, so hopefully those team fights, if they do decide to fight for Soul, or especially Elder, could go much more in their way than it currently will, as right now, currently sitting 10,000 gold behind, not really looking to have any team fights for them.
And I like to see where a lot of the priority for the side of No Fear Wolves is coming in here. They have Cute Raichu in a side lane, just clearing wave after wave here, trying to get him towards that Rylai's Crystal Scepter, which is really the biggest utility pickup here for the Cassiopeia, allowing him to kite out the Patrick Jones, kite out Sterling Archer, kite out pretty much everyone from Death Cards Academy. And they're putting a lot of their ward coverage towards this top side of the map, so that they need to go check for this Baron, that they have the ward coverage to be able to check their own top side of the jungle, and trying to stall out this game as much as possible here. I like to see that they haven't been looking for a fight for the past couple of minutes, but they need to continue to play this game so that if they want to bring themselves back into this one.
Yeah, the dragons are completely even right now, which, considering everything that's happened, especially the 10,000 gold deficit for one team, even dragons means that No Fear isn't completely rolling over quite yet, as they are still collecting these dragons, potentially do have that win soul condition if they do want to fight for the next few, but like I was saying earlier, you can't really be looking for these fights until your 2 scaling picks do start picking up their items. And while you were talking, Cute Raichu was able to pick up that Rylai's, and 2 items on a Cassiopeia is going to be pretty huge if they are looking for any team fights soon.
That utility is going to come in handy when it comes around to this next fight that's going to be coming up here. I think that DCA is going to try and continue to force this Baron play here, and if they do, this could be the big opportunity for No Fear Wolves to bring themselves back into this first game here. And because when you try and fight that Baron, you lose all those resistances, but on the top side, Fugnuggler, he wants to go aggressive once again. The rest of DCA is here.
Cornstar, he thought it was a 1v1, and then it turned out it was not a 1v1, as he's trying to ult out, he's trying to flash out, but it's not gonna be enough. Fugnuggler picking up that kill, as now Skiz trying to ult in for himself in a 1v2 here, as he realizes he does not do any damage, and definitely no CC on him as well, as now Galaxy using that killer instinct to go in, finding himself a double kill, very aggressive on this Kaisa.
And it seems like a little bit of an overcommit from Skiz there. Hold on, fight's still going.
Oh, baby. Okay. I was gonna say, Cute Raichu could almost turn that for a triple kill, and that would have potentially changed the entire game, but luckily Death Cards were just able to make it out of that one.
Barely making it out for the side of Death Cards Academy, as you said, Cam. Again, it just feels like DCA is running around with their fat wallets and is taking advantage of how far ahead they are here. I also want to point out that they just constantly are looking for plays around whoever can find the most aggressive they're constantly looking to group around whoever can currently make the most aggressive play. So in that situation, Fugnuggler finds an opportunity to throw down the Death Realm onto Cornstar, who's away from his turret and can't prevent the Mordekaiser ult from coming down. And notice how everybody else from the side of Death Cards Academy rotates over towards that top side of the map, because they know that No Fear Wolves is going to be trying to rotate in order to save Cornstar there. But it's Death Cards Academy that shows up first there, despite the fact that they're the one, because they're the ones that are the first team to pull the trigger, looking for that aggressive play. They get their entire team on board there, and Skiz just goes in a little too early, doesn't have the backup of his 2 carries and Cute Raichu and Epic Fail Guy, and ends up giving over his life for free as well.
Yeah, and now we're looking towards this Baron here for Death Cards Academy. Like you were saying, as Joshbox, oh my gosh! 2 Kai'Sa abilities, 3/4 of his HP chunked out. That is a fun champ right there, I do have to say. But I was gonna say, No Fear Wolves, they have the teleport advantage in the bot lane with 3 teleports on their team to Death Cards too, but that does give them only a little bit more pressure in the side lane, as currently you can see Fugnuggler, he has his teleport up, so does Patrick Jones, so the amount of teleports you have might not matter if this Baron is just going to be duoed without even knowing it.
Look how strong the side of Death Cards Academy is. They're two-manning this Baron. Thresh isn't even there to tank it. He's just on the other side of the wall playing goalkeeper here. It's at 2,000 health. Unless they see it right now and go for the Ziggs ulti, this is going to be going over for free. That should be the secure just a second here. Any second. All right, there we go.
Okay, I was very worried it was going to get stolen away. Now Galaxy Vape going in all on his own in there in the mid lane there, as that shutdown will be going over to Skiz. That is quite the shutdown going over to their jungler now.
That's a pretty big pickup here if you're No Fear Wolves. So taking out the AD carry right before this dragon is going to be spawning here. Also taking that one Baron off of the map is going to be so important. Team fight though.
Team fight. We want to fight over this Cloud Dragon as Skiz taken out before we're even able to talk about it. Meanwhile, Joshbox not allowed to run away. Cornstar finds himself in a 1v1 with Sterling Archer, not going to win that one. So all 3 kills going over to Death Cards and another Cloud Dragon going over to them as well.
And look where Cute Raichu and Epic Fail Guy are once again. They are nowhere near their team in order to help out with that team fight. Instead, it is Skiz and Joshbox that pay for that one more time. They go down around that dragon. Yes, you're able to pick up Galaxy Meep. That's a fantastic pick, but it doesn't warrant going for that dragon fight. You're still so far behind, 12,000 gold. And when there's that Baron buff, you can't be affording to give over extra kills, because when you're dying like that, there could have easily been a shove coming in from one of the members of DCA. Instead, they decide to pick up all 3 members there, decide to go for the dragon. Instead of shoving out these lanes and trying to pressure the inhibitor turrets here. But honestly, this game could be over with the next team fight that happens here with just how far ahead DCA is.
Yet they are 12,000 gold in the lead at this point, sitting on the map. All 5 members have that Baron buff up for them. Actually, it's all 4 members except for Galaxy Meep, as he did die right after Baron was taken, which was very unfortunate. But still, 4 members, Galaxy can just split with someone else, so it doesn't even matter. And all 3 lanes potentially having Baron minions running down them could potentially definitely mean at least 1 inhibitor, if not more.
Great hold here from the side of No Fear Wolves so far. They've been doing a great job this game of being able to at least deal with side wave pressure. If I can give them nothing else but that, they've constantly had different members rotating through all the different lanes. And Cute Raichu and Cornstar, despite how many times they have died, haven't died as many times as you think they should. Cornstar maybe a few too many times. Epic Fail Guy has sitting on only 3 deaths here. Hold on.
Oh no, Cornstar keeps trying to take this 1v1 against Patrick Jones. You're not gonna win it, my friend. He just steals your ult, and it's just so much better on him.
Just as I'm talking about Cornstar not dying in the side lanes, he goes ahead and dies in the side lanes. I really need to stop cast the curse and everything here in the series, I swear. But as I was saying, they've been doing a good job with Cute Raichu and Epic Fail Guy picking up sideways, continuing to CS and not allowing these inhibitors to fall down. Baron should be expiring almost any second now on the side of DCA. If I can click on one of these players, yeah, it's going to be expiring right now actually. So they've been able to ward off this first push towards the inhibitors so far without giving up one until this Baron has already finally fallen down here. Are they going to be able to continue to hold it off though?
Yeah, there is no more wave left in this top tower with any Baronified minions, like you were saying. They're only going to have cannon minions from now on, as it is past the 25-minute mark, so every wave will have a cannon, but not having them Baronified is not going to be very helpful. As you can see, it doesn't even matter. Who needs Baron when you could just run in and take the inhibitors for free?
I guess Baron buff was just there to help them set up the waves on the far side of the map, because they don't even need it in order to pick up that first inhibitor on the top side here. They've been able to shove up every single lane here with that Baron power play, and now they're going to be rotating over to the mid lane. Skiz gets picked.
Oh no, Skiz! Oh, one more auto, the little burn. I think he's gonna live with the shield, but Fugnuggler, he is there in the back line. He did pop the Death Realm onto Jushbox, and unfortunately, not finding the kill onto support and getting CC for the rest of his life, as Patrick Jones steals away the set once again and does not do quite enough damage, but Sterling Archer going in the back line deals so much, as now he has half his HP bar as a shield, but it doesn't even matter. He's gonna go into Guardian Angel, and the rest of his team just gonna leave him. He doesn't have as big of a shutdown as the rest of his team does, but now Gallic-Meep, he's the last one standing other than Cthulhu, and Cthulhu has already ran away. So if Gallic-Meep is trying to fight this, he's completely on his own. As the hook goes wide, he's forced to flash away, he's forced to heal away, but doesn't even matter. Skiz too far behind, still gonna be going down for that 1-for-1, as double kill coming out for Epic Fail Guy in the very end of what was such an extended team fight.
And that's really, really big here for the side of No Fear Wolves. You have that top side that has the inhibitor down. You have no more inhibitor turret in the mid lane, but being able to fend off that game-ending push that was trying to be forced by Death Cards Academy is going to open up an avenue for, one, a lot of shutdown gold going over to Epic Fail Guy. Cute Raichu also being able to pick up the shutdown onto Patrick Jones, but two, if they're not able to continue to shove out these waves and end the game here on the side of Death Cards Academy, taking an inhibitor topside isn't going to mean the end of the game. It's just going to mean more farm going into the hands of Cute Raichu, who's set up on that top side of the map. He hasn't been dying a whole lot this game, as we mentioned. He has the highest CS out of anyone on the Rift at the moment. He is just looking to scale up. He's been sitting on a fully stacked tier this entire time here, and with the Zhonya's completed, he's going to be looking to finish. He should be looking to finish out that tier item before the next Baron comes up, and really trying to take over this next team fight.
Skiz got yoinked over the wall and immediately forced ult away. Sterling Archer, he's going to the backline, but he might not be as tanky as it once was, as Cornstar, he ulted into all 5 members of Death Cards. He might almost take Sterling Archer down with him, but not quite, as Cute Raichu flashes, misses his ultimate completely, and is now just trying to deal damage with his E. The Woolcard for Thurlu will be hitting that hook, but unfortunately that member is Black Shield. Fugnuggler so low, Sterling Archer just trying to focus down the soul. He is able to secure it. Meanwhile, Patrick Jones, you can see just how much damage the Silence is able to do. Cute Raichu taken down right before his other teammate. Is he able to find the 1v3? He might just be fed enough to find 1 kill, but not quite, as Gallic-Meep able to find a triple kill to potentially end off game 1.
What a well-played team fight coming in from DCA there. For a second, I was honestly convinced that No Fear Wolves are going to be able to find yet another successful team fight, but Gallic-Meep holding onto that killer instinct for so long in that team fight means that he's able to stay alive, play on the backside of this fight, and just had some phenomenal positioning to take on members one at a time, kill them off with the Encathrian Rain, and then finally come out at the very end there to finish off Cute Raichu, who was set up in a position where he could have potentially kited out the last 3 members of Death Cards Academy, but winning this game in commanding fashion. Almost as many kills as there were minutes in the game. 30 kills for the side of DCA in 33 minutes here. They absolutely ran through their opponent in this first game of our best of 5 series here.
Absolutely. This was the dominating fashion of Death Cards Academy that I don't think we were expecting. We were expecting this to be a very even series. Maybe not. Maybe this was just the one-off game where Death Cards got to absolutely run away with it. And maybe No Fear Wolves will have another game like that in this series, as that was an explosive game 1.
Yeah, it was a very explosive game 1. I think we're going to be throwing it over to the analyst desk, which should include me and Metapods, actually, in order to help break down that game. We got to bring him in here in order to help understand from an outside perspective of what we thought happened in that series. So let's go ahead and welcome Metapods onto the desk with us as we look to break down that first game. How's it going, my man?
Not too bad. That was a banger of a game to watch.
Right?
Whatever cheat codes DCA had, I want those, because there were 2 fights like in the first 5 minutes where they're living on 1 HP. I want whatever they have, because I have no idea how to replicate that.
It's the luck of the draw, you could put it down to. I honestly think that Jin Sao living that level 2 bush around mid lane, like that first kill that he got, honestly, definition of that game. Comes in, gets a couple of kills around the mid lane, as you call Metapod here, and then starts running away with the game here. In particular, is there anything that you saw from DCA that you think that was really the success for them, besides just playing super aggressive and constantly looking for fights?
I really like the way that Galki was managing to play a traditional AD carry into the Ziggs. A lot of AD carries you see, they just lose their minds. They don't know how to play against mages. He went with a really aggressive Kaisa build. He went for the Dirk still, so he could just cube evolve as soon as possible and clear waves, and then kill the Ziggs. It didn't always work, but he shut down what the Ziggs wanted to do, and the Morgana was constantly stuck roaming and couldn't protect him. And I think they did a really good job of shutting that down. The Ziggs never took any towers. At that point, your pick is, it's not useless, but when you only have 2 sources of AP for damage on your team, it's not good.
Yeah, that's kind of something we were talking about during the first champion select, is when you have Cassiopeia and Ziggs as your 2 main carries, and then you have a couple of tank bruisers, where do you have the kill potential in team fights? Where's that genuine, point and click DPS going to be coming from? It definitely felt like they were lacking a bit of that in the mid game series, because we saw that the early game lead went over to DCA, and throughout that mid game, they just kept taking it to town versus No Fear Wolves.
Patrick Jones, his feet, his hands, I don't know what this man does, but he did not get hit by a single Cassiopeia ult. First, they try to gank him, he steals the Cassiopeia ult, dodges Cassiopeia's, and then just throws it back at her and says, nah, that's mine. Later on, there's another fight where they're trying to gank the Cassiopeia, and they're going onto her, and he backsteps so clean, you called it out on the Cass, it was great, and just re-engages and murders the Cassiopeia. It was so good.
It was the cleanest like I said, it's the cleanest backsteps I've seen since Faker's Riven in that one clip from, like, what, 2016 or something like that? Way back in the day when he was underneath
Faker's an old man. I'm an old man.
It's okay. I go old man hands, too. I can never pull off a play like that. But DCA stepping up in game 1 here. People have a lot of questions about them, because it's kind of been the second place team that not a lot of people knew too much about coming into this series here, but they are making an absolute statement in this first game of this best of 5 series. Metapods, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to a quick delay as we get set up for game 2 of this series. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. Do not touch that browser. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes.